It seems like WWE is shuffling the board when it comes to champions recently, whether it's by design or by happenstance. Right now, we even got a vacant World Heavyweight Champion. So I thought today we would just go over who the champions are and who I feel will be the next champion. We'll start off with the U.S. title. Ilya Dragunov just won against Sami Zayn, and while I had issues with Sami Zayn going into his U.S. title reign, I thought Sami did an excellent job. I would love if Ilya Dragunov actually continued the U.S. Open Challenge. He is a face, so there is opportunity for that. And I would love if Carmelo Hayes actually beat Ilya Dragunov, because we could put this in a storyline where Ilya says, you know what? My downfall, where I'm at now and to where I was a couple years ago, very different. And Ilya, he pinpoints it back to when he lost his NXT title. That was the beginning of his, slow decline. And who beat him? Ilya Dragunov. So we revisit that feud, and Carmelo says, I want to win. That said, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I think the winner, the person who will eventually beat Ilya Dragunov, will be Aleister Black. Aleister Black is moving up the card. He got himself a manager who happens to be his wife, also Zelina Vega. I heard they might even change her name to Zelina Black. Not sure about that. But I think Aleister Black is the dude to eventually beat Ilya Dragunov. It would be a fresh feud. Plus, you can see that they are trying to build Black up. And yeah, that would be a decent feud too. I would rather it be Carmelo Hayes, but I think they're going to go Aleister Black. And then, then maybe Priest can get back involved, and Priest and Black can feud for the U.S. title. I don't think Ilya is going to be a very long champion. I think maybe 2 or 3 months, but hey, you could do a lot of 2 or 3 months. Sami Zayn, he didn't have it for that long if you really think about it, and I'm okay with not having champions have it forever. So I'm going Aleister Black, but I hope Carmelo Hayes, and I gave a storyline for Carmelo just in case Triple H or ChatGPT wants to steal it. Go for it. So let's do the women's U.S. title. Julia is your champion. It's been a borderline criminal title reign, because it kind of sucks, to be honest with you. Very lackluster, no luster, lacking all of that luster. She's so good. She is really, really good, and yet they haven't capitalized on that. So that sucks. And what are we gonna do with her? Who does she lose her title to? I think it'll be a shock. I think it'll be a shock title win with a call up from NXT. I'm thinking Lola Vice here. Lola Vice seems to be always the bridesmaid, never the bride in NXT, where she just always comes up short against whoever has that title. So maybe it's okay, she's not meant to hold the title in NXT. Call her up and instantly beats Julia in this program. That Julia is in a program kind of sort of with Tiffany Stratton. We're in the beginning stages of it, and maybe somehow during that feud, Julia just maybe Tiffany calls her out and says, you never even defend your belt, and then Julia says, fine, I'll defend my belt right now, but there's nobody on the roster that can beat me, and boom, Lola Vice shows up, and Lola instantly wins. Maybe Tiffany helps, and it's a celebration, and then that can further the Julia Tiffany Stratton feud right there. That would bring some heat to the feud. And then Lola Vice, she becomes a U.S. champion, instant splash on the main roster, which then ties into who I feel the male champion will become, because Lola Vice and Damian Priest are a thing behind the scenes. So what if Lola Vice becomes U.S. champion after Aleister Black becomes U.S. champion? Then Zelina Vega, Aleister Black's manager, she starts feuding with Lola Vice, which brings out Damian Priest. Damian Priest already has beef with Aleister Black, and now suddenly we have the women of the group feuding for the U.S. title, and we have the men of the group feuding for the U.S. title right there. So let's go Aleister Black men's and Lola Vice women. So now let's see who's going to be the next Smoking Skull champion. I'm going to give away this belt, and it could be you. At 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to give it away. All you got to do to win is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and you could be said champion. Not a toy. It's a replica. Okay, so let's do the Intercontinental title next. We got Dirty Dominik Mysterio. I'm thinking, if rumors are true, John Cena, the Unseen 17, is one title away from the Grand Slam champion, and I'm thinking we're gonna do it. The only reason why I'm starting to doubt myself is that Dirty Dom has officially become, well, officially become a face. He's a face now. He was cheered and just everybody was like, woo, Dominik Mysterio. They were chanting him to the point where he was actually able to speak on the microphone on the last Monday Night Raw. So do we want face Dominik Mysterio facing 4 matches left John Cena? Oh, man. I mean, John did fight AJ Styles, and both were faces, so it's not out of the realm. And I do believe that John Cena wants to face Dominik Mysterio, so right there, boom. I think John Cena versus Dominik Mysterio is in the cards, and I think they give it to him. And then Dom, I mean, no shame in losing the belt to John Cena. You know, who knows? Dom can play it off. It was just like, I felt sorry for him. I let him win. You know, something like that. Who knows? But who will beat John Cena? As what if the rumors are true and it's going to be Gunther as his last opponent? Well, then Gunther wins back the Intercontinental title from John Cena last match, and he says, you know what? Ever since I lost this title, it's the prestige has gone downhill. I'm gonna have to hold on to this for a while again, so we can build it back up to where it was when I lost it. And then that keeps Gunther out of the world title scene for a while. So, yeah, you know, maybe, John Cena to Gunther. How about that? Now we go to the Intercontinental Women's Champion, and that's Becky Lynch. It's going to be hard to beat her because, well, it's always hard to beat the best in the world. And that's not just me saying it, that's Sports Illustrated. So who will beat Becky? She seems to have beaten everybody. Signs are kind of pointing to Maxine Dupree in that Maxine has a countout win and a DQ win, but I don't think it's going to happen. I believe it's going to be AJ Lee. I've been calling for AJ Lee for a while now, and I feel like it would have been perfect after WrestlePalooza. You know, Becky comes out, she's super mad that they had lost, and she's like, yeah, you know what, one-on-one, you couldn't beat me, and then AJ won. That would have been, like, perfect. It would have been just, that would have been great. However, Triple H's long-term booking means that you can literally have your super hot stars like just leave for 2 months, and we call that long-term booking when they just make a shock return. So whatever the case may be, I think it would have been perfect back then, but it still seems to be the perfect option now, or maybe the better option now. I wouldn't mind Maxine winning because it would be kind of that like underdog story, but Becky Lynch losing to AJ Lee, there's just more juicy story there because AJ Lee can then go and feud with Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez just lost a non-title match to Stephanie Fakir, therefore she's out of the title picture whatsoever. So other than flirting with Dominik Mysterio, there's really nothing for her to do. But if AJ Lee wins, behind the scenes, Roxanne Perez is like her adoptive daughter, her home away from home, her wrestling parents, she has called them. And AJ Lee has been her idol since like 13 or 12, 13 years old. So Roxanne Perez and AJ could get into a big feud then. And then Becky Lynch doesn't even need to have a rematch. She could just go on into the main event scene because Becky's done all she needs to do with the Intercontinental Champion, and now we have a good feud to hand it off to AJ Lee, Roxanne Perez. So yeah, AJ Lee should have won a couple weeks ago, a month ago, but yeah, she's still, to me, she's still the solid choice here. All right, so let's do tag teams. How about we go to the tag team division of the Kabuki Warriors? I think will beat Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, they've had a nice little title reign. I don't think it set the world on fire, but it did get the fans back behind Charlotte Flair, not hating her to the point where we just like turn off the TV. So job well done. They defended it multiple times. It's not the worst title reign. I've seen worse. Just hasn't set the world on fire at the same time. I think it's time for them to lose it. And who can they lose it to? The Kabuki Warriors. The Kabuki Warriors have already called their shot. They have a vignette where they literally say, you know, they showed them their former champions, and they basically say they're coming back for those championships. And they're doing the best work of their career right now. Asuka and Kairi are just like phenomenal, and it would even further the storyline with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley on some levels, because who knows, maybe we can just have a feud for the tag team titles also there. So yeah, I just think the Kabuki Warriors are the ones to do it. Like, who else? There's like no one on the horizon right now that seems to even be close to the Kabuki Warriors level. So give it to them. Just give it to them. The tag team championships on Raw, they just changed hands. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, for whatever reason, they gave it to them. I'm debating. It's like, I feel like the New Day should be the ones to get it. But I don't know. It just feels like WWE is just dropping the ball with them. I don't understand it. They're so entertaining. They're so freaking entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. And I don't even know what's going on with Xavier Woods. Is he injured right now? Because he's like not showing up to TV. They keep mentioning him, and so I know he's there. And I know that the New Day just signed or re-signed, so they're not going anywhere. And it would be a great time to push them. But I think it's the Brawns. I don't want it to be the Brawns. I think right now that Braun Breaker should be in the world title scene. And honestly, so should Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed should be going after Cody's title, and Braun Breaker should be going after the world championship title. And even if it was just for a month for Bronson Reed, because he had such a big win over Roman Reigns. You know, say, you know what, I beat Roman Reigns, and then just have 1 month on SmackDown going for that title. You know, but whatever. But I think the plan was to give them the tag team gold, before Seth got injured. And yeah, they kicked out Seth Rollins, and it's like it looked like for a second that Braun Breaker was taking over, and no, he's not. It looks like they're going to go ahead with whatever plans were set before Seth got injured. I think they're tweaking it. And that's why they went the super safe route of CM Punk versus Jey Uso. And yeah, I could just see them somehow, some way giving the tag team titles to the Brawns, because then it makes them look intimidating when they're on TV because they have some gold. I think that's a bad call. But there's not many teams. On Raw right now, unless we did Dom and then Grande Americano. But it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. So that could allow then at least some tension in the Judgment Day, because Dom's the tag team champion. No, I'm going the Brawns. I think the Brawns are going to be your next tag team champions. And I think that sucks, though, because I think they should just be singles competitors who happen to be aligned together in a faction. So, yeah, give it to the Brawns. We'll go to SmackDown. That championship, that's going to go to the Wyatts have had it. Seems like they've beaten everybody but the MFTs, and I'm going to go with the GOD, formerly known as the GOD, the Gorillas of Destiny. Tamatonga Tungaloa, they're your champions. It seems like that we have gotten ourselves into a faction war right now with the MFTs. Solo Sikoa's MFTs versus the Wyatts, and I could see that the Gorillas of Destiny, they beat the Wyatts to further that title. Maybe a hot potatoes for a second, but yeah. Bloodline become, or MFTs, they become your next tag team champions. I think that one's kind of cut and dry. No one else for the Wyatts to face right now, so give the title to them. And then we go, now we're in the women's championships. We have the women world title, Stephanie Fakir. I think she's not going to walk into WrestleMania as champion. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. I didn't think they would let her beat Tiffany Stratton. So at Crown Jewel. So maybe they want to keep that super strong and her credible. I think she'll feud with Nikki Bella, but I think she'll win that feud. I could see Becky Lynch, honestly. I already said that Becky Lynch is going to lose the Intercontinental title and then go to the main event. I could see that. I think Becky Lynch, maybe Becky Stephanie at WrestleMania, and Becky wins there. That's what I'm going to say. Becky Lynch actually will beat Stephanie Fakir at WrestleMania. All right. I know a lot of people are going to be mad. Oh, shut that off. It's just an opinion, guys. I'm not even saying I want that to happen. It's just me saying what I think is going to happen. Then let's do Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton versus, there's really no one. There's really no one. Yeah, Julia, I did say that earlier, that Julia loses her U.S. title in the feud with Tiffany Stratton, but I don't think Julia is going to win. I think they've really dropped the ball with Julia, and I think it's going to, I think that's going to make it where they're like, well, she couldn't carry the U.S. title, so she can't carry the top title. When it's like, well, you know, when you book her weak, no wonder she couldn't carry the U.S. title into something prominent, but whatever. I don't think it's going to happen. Honestly, this is someone that I've been calling for it to happen for a while, but I think it's going to be Jade Cargill still. I don't think they're done with Jade Cargill. I think they spent a lot of money on Jade Cargill. This is a situation where they should have done it, actually, also a month or two ago, when Jade Cargill had a matchup in a triple threat. She was the only one who didn't botch anything. Tiffany botched, Nia botched, the referee botched, but Cargill didn't. And in fact, there was a moment where she was bleeding and yelled in front of the camera. WWE missed such an opportunity to capitalize on that, to just absolutely capitalize on that, but they didn't. And they just allowed her to go, that moment to go into obscurity. A moment like that, when you're all bloodied and you own it into the camera, to the crowd, that made Becky Lynch the man. And this could have made Jade Cargill into something amazing and awesome, but it didn't because they didn't do anything with it. And the last time we saw Jade was the last time she was placed. So it's been a month. And that momentum is now gone. However, maybe they use it to turn her heel. You know, maybe I've been saying that she should be the narcissist Lex Luger, where she just like always is like looking at her body. But because of that scar now, I think they should do what they did with Cody Rhodes, when Cody Rhodes went from what was he? He was like the heartthrob guy, very vain, looking in the mirror all the time. That to become this, like, he got hit in the nose or something by Rey Mysterio 619 and became like hideous Cody Rhodes and stuff. And he started having a complex about how he looked because he had some kind of like default, a defect. And so what if we did that with Jade Cargill? What if Jade Cargill comes back as a heel because now she has this giant scar on her face and she was like, I was so perfect looking before, and you messed up my face. You made me hideous. When she's like, she looks exactly the same. You can barely even tell the scars there. And so, like, she could come back as just this really evil heel that, like, is all about her look still, different than the narcissist Lex Luger. We could do that narcissist gimmick later down the road, but right now we could go that like hideous Cody Rhodes gimmick where she's all like concerned about this one scar on her face, but she could use that to really hate Tiffany Stratton and destroy her and become champion. So like, I do think that Jade Cargill is still the next champion. Now, will they implement my ideas? I don't know, but I do still see that Jade Cargill is your next women's champion, and there's really no one else for Tiffany to fight on SmackDown unless they send Io Sky over or Rhea Ripley over, but I don't think they're going to do that. Next up, we've got the vacant world title, CM Punk versus Jey Uso, unless they throw a monkey wrench in next week where like they injure Jey Uso on purpose, so they have to do another number one contender. I see this match happening. It's a very safe pick, in that a lot of people still love Jey Uso, even if the internet doesn't, and a lot of people still love CM Punk, even if maybe a smaller portion of the internet, but a very vocal portion of the internet still doesn't like CM Punk. I think these are your two top baby faces on Raw, even though I feel that LA Knight should be. And I also feel that Braun Breaker should be here as well, but it's not. This is what we got, so let's deal with it. I think they go CM Punk. Originally, I thought CM Punk was going to not win the world title until WrestleMania, but I think plans have changed, and they're going to just go, all right, let's just go with Punk. We're gonna have to speed up some storylines, and Punk would eventually win, so they're gonna give it to Punk. Jey Uso right now is in like kind of inner turmoil, which direction is he gonna go as a character? Is he gonna go the yeet face, fun-loving Jey Uso, or the tribal chief Jey Uso that will do whatever it takes for checks and championships? And then Jimmy Uso's kind of like, oh, what are we gonna do here? On the horizon, saying Jimmy, or Jay, don't turn to the dark side. So there's this whole storyline going, and you could further that storyline with the world title. I mean, that could definitely push Jay down a darker path. And if he goes full heel on CM Punk, that gives CM Punk someone to feud with, but I don't know, maybe we don't need to see CM Punk chasing that title for the next 6 years. We know that's the end destination, so maybe CM Punk. I think we give it to CM Punk, but it's kind of a coin toss. I'd be 60% CM Punk, 40% Jey Uso, CM Punk. And now we go to Cody Rhodes. Two people. There are two people who I think he could do it. Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Those are your two. I don't know which one. We got Drew versus Cody right now at Saturday main event. Oh man. There was talk even that Drew and Cody pitched an idea at WrestlePalooza for Drew to actually win. And then Cody would go and feud with Randy Orton. Do we do that? I'm going to go crazy here. Drew McIntyre. I'm calling it. They're doing it. They're going to finally freaking do it. They're going to give it to Drew McIntyre. Cody will then go off on a feud with Randy Orton for a little bit. Randy Orton could just be like, I suck now because I'm too nice and I've got to do something about it. Now, you could easily say that Cody could beat Drew McIntyre and then still have that feud with Randy, but I don't know. If Cody pitched himself losing to Drew McIntyre at WrestlePalooza, he must know inside himself that his title reign isn't working and he needs to do something that will rejuvenate himself. Maybe he realizes he needs to chase the title and not just have a stranglehold on the title. So, yeah, I'm going Drew McIntyre. I'm just setting myself up for disappointment. I don't think it's going to be a long title reign. I don't think Drew walks into WrestleMania with the title, but Drew wins, and Cody and Randy go off that way. Drew can feud with whoever for a little bit. Maybe Jacob Fatu comes back. I heard he's injured with some something about his teeth or dental work, and he could probably be back in like a month or two. So yeah, let's Drew McIntyre. I know. I probably should pick Randy Orton, but I'm doing Drew. Those are my picks. Let me know your comments below. I gotta do Drew. Like, can he? How many times can he just lose? How many times can he just lose in the main event? He has to. He's so good. Maybe somehow, some way, they have a triple threat at Royal Rumble. Randy can win there, and then Randy and Cody can then go to headline WrestleMania. There you go. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are my picks for the next champion. Let me know what you think of them and put your predictions in that comment below. See ya. Bye.